Hi, I'm Sophie Alexander of the Nutritional Wellness Center of Ithaca. Welcome to my Wellness Wednesday. And today I'm going to be talking all about protein powders because it's a big topic. It comes up all the time with clients. People want fast breakfasts, or they want a shake to be able to recover after working out. And there are so many out there of different protein powders. It's a huge, huge industry. And they want to know, A, are they okay? And B, what are the options if they are okay? And in general, I'll just say as a overarching caveat, I'm always trying to encourage people to eat more real food. So I'm saying, eat eggs or eat actual meat as a protein source. But for folks who really want to shake, we're going to talk through some of the better options and some of the ways to navigate understanding protein powders and some of the big pitfalls, some important information about them as well. So when it comes to the protein powder industry, it's a huge industry and not all protein powders are created equal. So I really want you to be a detective. Most are not sourced well at all, the actual ingredients behind it. So I want you to look into it. Do you know where the whey in your protein powder comes from, or the egg whites, or the pea protein, or the rice protein, or the soy? And if you are using a soy, I'm just going to say right now, please stop. It's really not a good protein powder to be using just because of the GMO aspect, how heavily it's sprayed, and then the estrogenic, more estrogen-inducing aspects of it for our bodies. So especially, everybody, please stay away from soy protein powder. But I want you to be looking into it. Is your whey grass-fed, or are the eggs organic? Is it non-GMO? This really matters when you're using it regularly. Some people are using it every day or multiple times a day. There was a Consumer Report study in 2010 that found that the vegetable-based protein supplements were contaminated with numerous heavy metals. So they found arsenic, they found lead, they found cadmium, and they also found BPA. So, you want to be able to find companies that you trust that are being transparent about their ingredients, because to actually make the protein powders, it is a highly processed food, and so we need to be, as consumers, advocating for this kind of transparency. A big thing that came up for me about this is that the Garden of Life, which is a well-known brand, they're organic, they're non-GMO, they make all sorts of protein powders, they use better sweeteners like stevia, things like that, but they just recently got they got bought out, by Nestle, and who knows what's that going to mean for the quality of the ingredients down the line. So many protein powders contain synthetic vitamins, they can contain artificial sweeteners, they contain fillers, they can contain preservatives. So really, the lower the price of a protein powder, the more additional kind of sketchy ingredients you're going to find in it. And so my number one advice is, if you're buying a protein powder, buy one with a short ingredients list. The shorter, the better. So I'm going to talk through a couple of my favorites. It's a tricky thing for me, protein powders. I must admit, I do, as a clinical nutritionist and as a nutrition response tester, I'm really working to find out what's right for the individual. And I have yet to have my favorite catch-all protein powder. I find that it's very much different for each person. And I also do find that people need to switch it up, and there can be problems when they're just using the same thing all the time, every day. But I am excited that Standard Process recently came out with a new protein powder. They call it their Veggie Complete Pro, and it comes in a vanilla and it comes in a chocolate. And this is, a pea protein, a sesame seed, and pumpkin seed protein to create a complete protein profile. And it has some better sweeteners in it as well. So it has coconut sap, and it uses monk fruit. And so I find that folks can do well with this, and it can even help us, because the monk fruit and the coconut sap does give it what I think is quite sweet, that it can help to satisfy a sweet tooth as well. The personal protein powder that I've been using recently is kind of a new thing for me, but because I never muscle test or through the nutrition response testing, I very rarely test well for a protein powder, so I've been kind of on the hunt. I do have quite a sensitive body and a lot of food sensitivities. And so I recently started experimenting and found that I'm doing well with the Sun Warrior protein powder, and I found this at our local health food store. And what I loved about this, and I'd heard about it from colleagues too who use it, is not only a super short ingredients list, right? It's organic non-GMO pea protein, it's organic hemp protein, organic goji berries, and organic coconut. And that's it. I mean, it does come in a vanilla flavor too, but that one has a few more ingredients, you know, to get that vanilla flavor in there. You know, they add the stevia, and they add some the vanilla natural flavoring, and they add some guar gum to kind of thicken it, you know, and it just starts, you know, I don't do well on the vanilla, but I can do okay on this one. And I don't remember what else I wanted to say about it, but yeah, really what it comes down to is another point is like what's right for you, and that's where it can be so awesome having a nutrition response tester as part of your team, because that can help you navigate all of this confusion and really figure out what you're going to do well on. Another fun thing that I've been experimenting recently with is actually I'm going to talk about some crickets. So maybe some folks have heard about this. You can get just whole cricket flour. There are some companies who are mixing the crickets into a protein powder and actually making it into what they call, quote, a protein powder. But again, I found that there was too much complication with the ingredients with that. So I got myself just some plain cricket powder, or I ordered it online. And crickets, what I like about it is it's really minimally processed. It's literally just roasted ground up crickets, and it's super clean. It doesn't test for heavy metals. It's a whole food, right? It's high in B12, and crickets are something been used around the world as a food source. I think the biggest trouble is that it's hard to gather up all the crickets and roast them and grind them into powder, so it's not as readily available and more costly because of that. But you throw it into a smoothie and flavor it with whatever you want. I don't notice it, and holds you for the day. So, but a big piece about protein powders in general ties into a larger topic with protein in America or in modern diet, is that the modern diet does have a skewed protein intake, and meaning then that the amino acids, which are our proteins, there's an imbalance in the amino acids. And this comes due to the fact that we no longer, as our ancestors did, we no longer consume the whole animal. So we no longer consume cuts of meat that contain the joints and the ligaments, and cooking them for a long time, drinking the broths that come from that. And we eat more now just the muscle meats. And so this gives us a really different balance in our amino acids, and actually a skewed balance that can be tied, I see as a clinician, as a piece of a lot of health concerns that I work with. And when people are having a lot of whey or a lot of egg white protein supplements, it contributes to that imbalance because it has that same amino acid ratio. So what I find can make a big difference, because it has such a different amino acid ratio, is having folks use collagen. And so this is the favorite collagen that I use from Vital Proteins. I like it because it's sourced from grass-fed cows, and I'll explain a little bit more what collagen is. So collagen is actually gelatin. It comes from the hides. This company especially comes from the hides of grass-fed cows, and they take that gelatin and they process it further so that it becomes tasteless and odorless and can mix into anything without clumping. And then you have collagen. So a great way to get collagen in a whole foods way is to be drinking bone broth, and to be making soups and stews that actually cook with the joints as part of the meat, and to not be just consuming muscle protein. But not everyone does that, or people are having protein shakes anyway, and they want to be able to mix something else into it to help balance it out. And so this is nice. It doesn't change anything about the taste. You can throw a scoop of it into the protein shake. I have a lot of clients who throw it into their tea or their coffee too, just other ways to incorporate it in their day so that they are getting a better amino acid balance in it. We get awesome results in the office of folks loving it because they see changes in their hair and their nails and their skin as well. So please check out collagen. Please be detective about your protein powders. And if you you must use them. Please use ones with a short ingredients list. And let me know if there's anything else you want me to be talking about with my Wellness Wednesdays. Thanks so much for joining me.